Hey gang, I'm out in the shop, do a quick update video and show you guys where I'm at in the shop construction. So obviously you can see we got lights, we got a lot of lights. Matter of fact, there's 10 lights and they're extremely bright. I decided to go with the 21,000 lume UFO lights, and there's 10 of them in the building, if you're wondering. Got 5 on each side, and they hang from the conduit via a clasp that, trying to think of what they're called. I can't think of what they're called right now, but anyway, it allows me to slide them back and forward. So I'll turn the light out and you can see how dark it gets in here. That's pretty much it. Pretty much black. The light you see up there is just the leaks in the sheet metal in the shop that'll be filled with insulation. So I'll turn the lights back on. Significant difference. So I guess I'll start right here. There's the beer fridge. It's trucking right along. Stocked up, thanks to Mrs. And there's a 220 plug right there. And I went all the way around the building. Pretty much every other post has 220 power on it. And every other post has a 4-prong. Let me show you on this side, it's a little easier. Has a 4 receptacle plug. There's one there, a single on the end. And of course, you got one here where the light switch is, and the top switch is the outside light switch. And then I've got a plug here. Again, there's a 220. Come down. I'll start in this corner where the power box is actually at. So this is the power box where all the electricity comes from. And so basically it's 110 circuit breakers and 220. There's a couple of circuit breakers I've got to change that are too small. I need to go to heavier circuit breakers, but that's no big deal. But that's the first plug in right there. This white wire is a building ground. That's grounded, earth ground. And then there's the first 220 plug. And the second one you can't see, but it's right behind my welding helmet. Move over here. There's the second one on this wall. And then of course again you can see the 110. I know it looks like overkill, but believe me, you get in a situation where you don't have a plug in, it's very aggravating. That's the 220 connection for the air conditioner / heat pump. And that's this right here is actually the air handler. I've got it dialed in, it's working fine. I'm just waiting to get insulation so I can charge the system. 220 and 110, 220 and 110, 220 and 110. You can see every other post how I've done it all the way around the shop. There are a couple of places like right here. I've got the 110, but there's no 220. There's no need for it because there's a wall that goes right here for the bathroom. And you can see the plumbing and all that for the bathroom right over there in the corner. I think I got the lights there and all that. The white line is the water line. It goes all the way around and goes out to the outside of the shop. One thing I didn't talk about, the line that's on the top there where the little stick outs are, every 10 foot there's a stick out. And what that is where my air compressor is tied into that line. And everywhere there's one of these T's, there will be a drop that comes down the wall with an air fitting on it. So it'll look something like that. So that's the air fittings that the air hose goes into. And those are every 10 feet all the way around the building. And I also have provisions for an airline that will go it will connect there and go up and over, following that electrical line and coming back down to the lathe. I don't like hoses laid out on the ground to where I can trip over them. So I've got the lathe pretty much where it's going to stay, and you can see the 220 plug there. It goes up to the ceiling, and then it goes over, and it connects in with that 220 plug that's against that wall. And if you're wondering why there's nothing against the wall, well, that's because I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, weather permitting, that the guy can get over here and do my spray and insulation. Once the insulation's done, I'll be able to put the plywood walls up and then put everything against the wall and build shelves. There's the water heater. It's a little old bitty thing, but it's just for a single sink, so I think it'll be just fine. That's the stub outlet for the water for the toilet. And I've not yet ran the stub outs for the sink, but the sink basically goes right here. So you can see the toilet mounting the floor. The sink will go just to the right of it, about where that oil pan's at. There's Alabama A, Roll Tide. I didn't finish this plug-in or that plug-in down there because I've bought all of the plug-ins that I could get locally. And matter of fact, I went to Lowe's, Home Depot, and to Builder's Cash and Carry, the three main ones here, and there's none left. I bought them all, so I went ahead and ordered some off of Amazon. So again, that's the water line, and it goes outside, but right here you can, all right. So right here will go, this T will go right here, and that will provide water for inside the shop. That way I don't have to drag a water hose outside. And there's too much stuff in the way. I can't really show you where it goes out the wall because I haven't gone through the wall yet. But you can see that's the last of the air line right there. It goes completely around the building every 10 feet. And then each end has its own air line that will come down. Again, it will come down somewhere around in there. And that's where the plug-in will be. And I set that up so that I'd have compressed air, so whenever I clean a part in my parts cleaner, I can blow it off right there. There's the last 110 on that leg that runs my my parts washer. But anyway, that gets me all the way around the building, and the shop is quite big and it's quite unorganized. But I do have my little truck in here. I've got my Ford in here. I was glad to get it out of the weather. This area here, a lot of you guys will recognize the way it's set up, because as I hold the camera like this, if you've seen any of my other videos, this layout is pretty much the same. We got the milling machine there, we got the work table there, we got the lathe there. A few changes are my press. It's going to go somewhere in that area. This little toolbox will go somewhere, and maybe not this one. I'm thinking about getting a different one, but regardless, I want another one of these toolboxes anyway. So one of them will go here. That toolbox will stay, and then I've got two more roll-arounds that I haven't picked up yet that are going to replace this big toolbox. They'll be machine tool specific, so I won't have all that. I'll be able to put all my tools in that roll-around. There's a $25 bandsaw. It's pretty much at its final resting place. It fits good there, works good there. There's the belt disc sander. That's where it's going to stay for right now. This machine is away from the wall, as you can see. Well, I have to leave it away from the wall. That's a heavy machine, so I decided to leave it sticking out so that the insulation guy can spray the insulation, and then I can put the wall up, paint the wall, and then I'll move the machine back against it. The phase converter it's not exactly where it's going to stay. It's actually going to go on the other side on an elevation, just to make it easier to get to. A little stand, if you will. So my milling machine has sit outside for months, covered up in plastic, so you can see what Mother Nature does to it. So I've got some work to do on that. But at any rate, the machine area is not that much different than it was in the old little shop. Just a lot more room to work around. And on this side, I've got a steel table coming from Scott. A lot of you guys may remember he's the photographer and the welder that I did a video with. He's bringing a table that he doesn't want, and he's also got some other things that he's going to offload that I'm going to take over from him. But for now, the bandsaw is here. And I put the bandsaw here because most of the metal that Scott brings me, or that anybody brings me on a truck or whatever, backs up to this door, and it's easier for me just to cut the metal right here at the door rather than dragging it all the way into the shop. And it's really not that far away from the machine area when you figure I've got another table that goes right here. So, but this is pretty much the end of the machine area, and then this entire bay where the golf cart's at, this will all be my welding area. And this compressor won't stay in here. I've got this compressor inside right now because my other compressor, the big gray one, it is hooked up and it works, but it doesn't do any good turning on. The outlets are all still open, as you can see. All these T's, that's where the drops go for the air hoses. And it is wired up. I finished that this morning. I pretty much did all of the 220 this morning, so I'm kind of dragging ours. But I've got to do a label. It'll be label compressor 1, compressor 2, and the gray one is on 2. I don't know if you guys can hear it running, but anyway, everything worked out good there. But like I said, I can't move the blue compressor out back until I get the drops, and I can't do the drops until I get insulation and get my walls up. This workbench, if you guys remember in my past videos, this is actually 2 workbenches. It was kind of a big L in the shop. It ran from this corner to this corner and then back to the toolbox. I decided to go ahead and bolt those together, make one solid tabletop, and then I put a shelf on the bottom so that I can put stuff down there. I've already got some stuff down there, but this table has to move again. But yeah, sandblaster's not staying there. It's going to move. I'm not sure where I'm putting this table yet. I don't know yet. Obviously, this is not permanent. I had the plasma out earlier. Me and Scott were playing with it. I think he's considering getting him one. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's the leftover wiring from doing the 110. I think that about covers it. I will show you where I'm putting the big TV monitor. You know, whenever I do my live streams, I've got the TV to where I can see. And I've mounted the bracket for it. I'll back up here and show you guys that. I've mounted the bracket for it right there. So let me try to get the camera to where you can kind of get a perspective of where I'm at. So, all right, I'm on the back side of the lathe here. The mill, you can see it there. That bracket that's just to the right of the mill, that black thing, that's where the big TV will hang. And the reason I did that is so that when I'm working on the lathe, I can turn around while it's making a cut and see kind of who's saying what. And if I'm at the milling machine, I just look right there. It's right there. And most of the work I do in here is actually on a milling machine. So I felt like, you know what? I think I want to put the TV on this side. So let me think. So there's probably going to be a wall here, not a wall, a partition that I'm going to build up as kind of a fake wall that will go against this toolbox, okay, 8 feet. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to keep the camera position. This is usually where I sit, and the camera is in front of me there. And if I put that wall behind me, I'll still be able to hang the flag of the week, or flag of the stream, up behind me and everybody can see it. But of course, once the walls go up, I'm putting all of my flags up on the wall all the way around. So anybody watching this, if you want your flag up, whether it be a city, a state, Providence, village, country, whatever, get with me. I'll proudly put it on the wall. But anyway, this is where I'm at, guys. I've got the lathe back up and running. Matter of fact, the reason Scott came over was a project he brought me he needs tomorrow. So tomorrow morning when I come out, I'm going to finish this little project, and then I'll get back to the building. I just made a few turns just to see if the machine was going to work correctly with all the new electrical. I do have to get a split cord so that I can use my coolant. I don't have that plugged in right now, but it does work. I just have to get a 3-way plug so I can plug that in. My DROs are working great. Thank you, Mark Dennison, for helping me rebuild that. Everything on the mill is good to go, with the exception it's nasty. You can see the flood coolant's working, adding to the rust. But anyway, I'll clean that up later. That's not a problem. I can handle that. That's small potatoes compared to where I'm at versus where I came from in this project. The fire bucket's in the same place as it was the other shop, pretty much right by the door. That way it's easy. If Mrs. comes out here to get all my rags, she just drags them out of the bag and hauls them in the house. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm at so far. Alright guys, I'm going to cut this one off short. I just wanted to do a short video and let you guys know where I was at with the shop. And I hope to see you guys soon. Hadn't seen you guys in a while. Hopefully, I'm hoping by end of January I'll be done with construction and I can start live streaming again. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next live. And roll tide.